the bat, because I'm sure we all have something to say about it. It was definitely the most important news of the week. Uh, Jose Aldo has officially retired from MMA, has
Boo.
left the UFC. His UFC contract has been released officially by Dana White. So it seems like he's done. There's a lot of speculation as to what caused it and why now and all this other stuff. I called this shit. I told you he was going to retire. I told you if he wasn't fighting for a real chance at the belt, I didn't think he was going to keep fighting, and I think he didn't think that was going to be a thing. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at there. Jose
I
Aldo
think.
was.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah,
Can we just talk about the decision first before we talk about the man?
yeah.
I think this is a terrible decision, and I hate it so much. And I don't even mean like because I'm a Jose Aldo fan, which obviously I am. I just don't think it makes any sense. I hate seeing a guy walk away when he is still at the top of the game and seemingly frustrated with a performance. Like, no one beat Jose Aldo. Like, no one whipped him. No one turned him back. No one did anything to give him this feeling of, like, I can't hang. It's time for me to go. Like, he got held against the cage. That is all that happened. He didn't even get hurt. I literally don't think he was hurt in any way in that fight. He got held against the cage. He got frustrated. I get it. If he won, he was going to be getting a title shot, almost certainly. He didn't win. He's super frustrated. Obviously, he's been in the game a long time. He was trying to make this bantamweight run. I get it. I get the frustration. But to have looked as good as he has looked in his last three fights, beating Marlon Vera, Pedro Munoz, Rob Font, like the dude has looked fantastic lately. So I don't care that he's old. I don't care any of that. And he's not even that old. Like, I don't like that his coaches, when he has looked this good, are not being like Jose. I know how bad you wanted to have another title, be a champion in two weight classes, get your shot at the bantamweight belt. You are still incredible. I get it. You're frustrated. You got held against a cage. You're Jose Aldo. They're not going to be like, go fight number 15 dude. Like, you're going to fight someone who is very close to this top five in your next fight. And if you win it, you might be in a title eliminator in the very next fight. Like, you might need two wins, and then you're fighting for the title. So I don't get how they don't push him to do that. If he loses again, and then he's like, okay, I get it. I totally get it if he was to lose again. Right now, I don't get how there are not people in his ear like, dude, don't give up on what you were pushing for just because you got held against a cage for 15 minutes. It's still right there. It's still attainable. So I'm frustrated. And I will clarify, who knows what's going on in Jose's personal life? Like, maybe he feels very strongly himself, like, I don't want to do this anymore. And in that case, like, who am I to say no? But it doesn't seem that way. It seems like he's just kind of frustrated about that he didn't get his title shot, and I wish someone could be in his ear a little more strongly. My take.
I tried to put some invisible dots together. You know what I mean? Like, he posted first about his kid. He recently just, him and his wife recently gave birth to what I'm assuming seems like his first son of the family. And so he looked super emotional in those photos. Shortly after that came the announcement of his retirement. It just seemed like it was a decision based off of a lot of different circumstances, probably not just the fight itself, probably the new addition to the family, probably wanting to be around more. Chances are he missed a lot of things with his first kid because he was Jose Aldo at the time. Makes you wonder if he wants to miss all of the same things that he missed then with the one that he has now, that he has a second shot. God knows he doesn't need to fucking prove anything to anybody when it comes to that side of things, the fight game or anything like that. So I'm not mad at it. I wish the timing was better. I wish it, to your point, Mark, I wish it made more sense. But at the same time, the man has given us such legendary shit that, like, he doesn't need to be fighting anymore. He just doesn't. And
Oh, he
and I'm
doesn't
kind
need
of
it.
okay with
No.
it. Yeah, and I'm okay with it. You know, like he really has given us memories, like for
Oh yeah,
the ages.
his
You know what I
legacy is
mean? The
bulletproof.
100%, 100%. And I would stand there and argue with the best of them that he's a bigger goat than Khabib any day of the week.
So will I. I'll fucking argue that all day.
Any day of the week.
I saw. Did
So
I send you guys? Oh yeah, I did. I sent you guys that post. I forget who tweeted it, but the guy said, with Jose Aldo retiring, I've been thinking about the top 5 MMA fighters ever, and I've come up with this list. Not Khabib. Fucking killed me. Cracked me up.
yeah. But yeah, man, Jose has given us some of the some great legendary performances. The fights with Faber's leg basically almost trying to explode on itself from all the leg kicks that he absorbed there. Breaking Cub Swanson's face, being the WEC champion into the UFC champion and holding the belt for so long and being seemingly unbeatable, and then essentially really sparking the rise of Conor McGregor, right? Solidifying the rise of Conor McGregor at that point, being part of that storyline forever. The wars with Max Holloway, regardless of the fact that he lost those fights. I mean, the man has put his body on the line for the better part of 2 decades at this point, and we've watched a minimum of maybe at least one of those decades, and it's been a pleasure. It's been a real,
Amen.
it's been one to remember for sure.
What a legend, man. What
Yeah.
a freaking legend. I heard whispers that he's going to box. What do you guys think? You think he's going to box in one of these newfangled boxing glorified exhibitions?
I don't know. He's always kind of been mentioning that he would like to box, so I could see it happen.
I don't know if he does anything, to be honest. He's got so many little ventures outside of the fight game that from a money perspective, he doesn't need to do a damn thing. No. You know, he's a king in Brazil. He owns like
He's
these
the king of Rio.
hamburger. He owns these hamburger shops. He's got all these other little side businesses that he has, like with his branding and stuff like that. So financially, I think he's more than set. And like I said, I really think the baby had something to do with it. That's my personal
It could be.
take
It could be.
from it.
Yeah.
And I think he just wants to stay at home dad this shit because he didn't get a chance to do it at all when he was, when his daughter was younger.
Jose is one of these guys who, no matter what was happening in his career, no matter if he was coming off a win, off a loss, off anything, every time you saw him walking into a cage and standing across from someone, you felt like it was a gift for you to be watching him. Like you were watching someone special. He just, he had that, and he earned that. He earned that through freaking blood and wars. I mean, this dude didn't lose for 10 years running up to Conor McGregor. I think it was 18 fights leading up to the Conor McGregor loss. He had been the WEC champ. He gave us all these moments in the WEC. The Cub Swanson flying knee, TKO and Mike Brown. As Omar said, the way he picked apart Uriah Faber like no one else had to that point. Faber was looking like he was unstoppable at that point in time. Then he becomes the inaugural UFC featherweight champion, which was awesome, seeing him come to the UFC and hold that belt. And then just the run that he goes on in the UFC. I mean, there's so many moments that he had that I'm probably going to skip moments. But the KO of Chad Mendes with the knee, where he jumps the cage and he runs into the crowd, and the crowd is carrying him around in Rio, which is really when that King of Rio nickname was born. His fights with Frankie, I mean, taking out Korean Zombie. It goes on. And then even the build-up to Conor. I know he loses the fight in 10 seconds, and I always think, man, I would love to see that fight actually play out, and we're never going to get to see that, obviously. But the whole build-up, like, what they were able to do with that rivalry, like, the dude is just a star. He is a legend, and then he comes back off of that and keeps it up and reinvents himself, add a new weight class, gives us even more classics. I mean, he just beat a guy recently in Chito Vera who we're talking about fighting for a title. Like, this dude is still at the absolute top of the game all these years later. What year was WEC's debut? Please hold. Debuted in the WEC in 2008. It's fucking about to be 2023. This dude, if he kept fighting, is still at the top of the game.
Yeah.
his legacy is bulletproof. I will never forget watching this guy. The leg kicks that he used to have in the earlier half of his career are probably the most disgusting leg kicks we have ever seen in MMA. There was a series done. I forget what website did this, but you can look at it. I think it was called The Night I Fought Jose Aldo, and it's all these dudes who fought him giving interviews and discussions of what it was like to fight him and how they were like not the same afterward, and the way that the condition their legs were in and all this. I mean, the guy is a legend among legends, and I'm pretty upset that I'm not going to get to see this dude fight anymore. But a lot of memories from Jose Aldo.
Yeah, man. Well said. I think I remember that article that you're referencing.
Yeah.
And that was in the lead up,